now ready to play. So let's kick this off and go into game number 1 of this best of 3 series. I'm going to start it out to the bottom left-hand side of the map. Our blue Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on Cass. Up against the red Terran to the top right side of the map. This is BratOK. Well, it's the Goblin and Gerald. We're going to get into the Goblin and Guru series on the second screen so we can hop into that when there's some exciting moments and stuff like that and give you guys some updates live. Just want to get into this TvT because it's ready to go. I know Goblin has Guru as an opponent right now as well, but he's still not in games, and I just really wanted to get us into some StarCraft rather than you guys just having to listen to me all the time, because that definitely gets a little bit boring and uninteresting. BratOK's coming up on each side of the map. Sorry, I'm really a little bit sniffly today. BratOK's coming up on each side of the map. As obviously in TvT, there's a very interesting dynamic in how you expand and when you expand and how aggressive you can be. For the moment, it looks as though double gas apiece. Fairly delayed double gas on one side of this. It's probably going to be a little bit... yeah, probably not going to be that crazy. Probably just going to be kind of two gases, 2 workers on each gas after the factory comes up and move towards a fairly quick fire command center. That's been the most common way of playing lately. We've been seeing a lot of Cyclone openings too. So maybe we'll see some more Cyclones coming in here shortly, as we see the factory dropping down from BratOK in the main base, and the factory dropping down from Cass over back at home as well. SCV from Cass heading up towards the upper right hand side. Having a little bit of a scout around here so far. And then factory comes in on each side of the map, so we're picking them down as well. Players starting to pull out of gas, as we mentioned before, with this kind of Reaper factory setup. There's going to be double Reaper each, which means they will go into Hellions here. Interestingly though, Cass does stay in the double gas with full workers, so that means he goes into the starport, and that's going to be obviously a little bit of a difference compared to what we have going on the other side, where BratOK does just go in towards the command center. So command center now goes back into gas. His starport will be a bit later if he goes for starport, but dropping down a factory, tech lab, and a reactor on the barracks. Probably suggests he just wants to get a Cyclone or so, and probably sticking away from the starport for a little while here. So we'll see if BratOK will be able to benefit from that, or if Cass, with the slightly more aggressive setup, will try and get something going. As you see, Reaper's coming up, and a couple of Reapers going down there. That Hellion getting very low, actually. Wow, that was 2 Reapers for a Hellion, but BratOK's, Cass's Hellion is super low. So as BratOK jumps up into the main base, obviously has quite a lot of potential to maybe get some damage done. Picks off one SCV there right away. Grenade goes down to bop a Hellion off to the side, but both those Reapers do fall. And again, the Hellion's just gathering up here, and SCV's coming in to repair. So BratOK doesn't get too much more done. Cass with the defense in the end. Repair's coming down, and he does have this Banshee already on the way up. Cloak started too, and as BratOK just goes into a very fast third CC, going to try and defend that with just the barracks and the factory. Still no starport. A few Hellions going to move forwards and towards the center of the map here. Cloak on the way up at the moment, and again, Engineering Bay also dropping down on this natural, so just going to be seeing BratOK really just moving in towards a setup where he's aiming to have a, have just an economy, have a mid-game bio build already set up. While Cass is really about harassing, dealing damage, and getting ahead going into that mid-game. His own third CC is on the way. There's a turret starts up instantly as this Banshee shows up. So already 2 workers going down, make that 3, and now 4. Scan comes down preemptively for the Banshee to cloak, and the Cyclones don't quite find themselves the kill there. Hellions at the same time go in towards the natural, and as the Cyclones naturally go down to go and deal with that, the Banshee comes back in, but the missile turret's actually finished, so a bit of a misplay from Cass, although he's already found himself 7 workers, so you can't complain all that much. It's still pretty good for him overall. As we're going to be seeing, that's 9 workers killed, and just going to stick around at 9. Command center starts up in the main base from Cass. I mean, that's actually... Did he not already have... I guess, wow, I really thought this was already his third base that was built, and I apologize. A little bit of a dull moment in my brain. I really thought this was a third base build. It was actually his natural still finishing up when I saw in the production tab. His third base is now on the way. So BratOK does go down in workers, but his faster third CC will obviously help him out quite a bit here. And so he should still regain the eco advantage. Cass also, though, still has an army lead. 17 to 8. That's unfortunate. He doesn't get the scan down in time to deal with this Banshee. Maybe he just didn't have a scan, which is a shame considering he's on triple orbital. He actually loses the Cyclone because of it, and obviously the Cyclones are one of his real kind of anti-air units at the moment, so he needs to try and deal with that, as these couple of Marines on their own won't do a lot. Cass finding a lot of damage in these early stages. Second engineering bay finishing behind the mineral liners. SCVs will get back to mining. +1 attack and +1 armor starting up on both sides here. There's that Cyclone from Cass also coming across over towards the upper right hand side. Try and see what it can do if he just comes in for a little bit of harassment here. Do you see a couple of SCVs going down from BratOK already? This Banshee to the top comes in. That cloak is pretty good. It is not going to get him out there, though. I feel as though changing direction maybe wasn't the best play. This is nice. This Banshee just sits on the edge of the mineral line. SCVs slowly keep wandering back into range while it just sits out of range. Cloaks up. Again, it's kind of far away to get out of there, and that will be a dead Banshee. 6 more workers killed, though. Cass is 41 to 35 workers. Despite what was a later natural, was a later third base, Cass is now setting up very powerfully. However, Cass following up with the bio as well. Here's his issue now. He's going to be so much further behind on Stimpak. He's going to be really struggling in that regard. So Cass has to try and survive here with much worse bio upgrades. As you see the Cyclone coming in, and it's actually a nice little lift up to cancel that there. Marines will get the kill. And stimming forwards, well, I mean, a couple of tanks sieging up. Cass doesn't have stim, but he has the numbers, and especially with the tanks. I like the idea from BratOK, lift up and just go towards the main base, because obviously so much in the main here. The drop is very powerful in this situation. Already Cass starts to pull back, but no stim, no real mobility on that army. And this is a real opportunity for BratOK to maybe get some damage done, as there is nothing to protect in this main base. One tank starting to come in now. Even if that siege is up here, it doesn't reach the protection range to save these engineering bases, for example. So that would be 1-1 potentially cancelled. Tank shot does go down, and, well, we see these Marines continue to press forwards. Man, BratOK has not been very careful with these Marines at all. Definitely could have done a bit of a better job, or even just, again, sit over here, kill one of these engineering bays. That tank was not in range, and there was no need to fight it. Well, he could have done so much damage just sitting over here, pick off this depot. Yeah, it might not be a load of damage, but it's guaranteed damage in comparison to running into that tank and hoping you're going to be able to pick it off and take it down. BratOK obviously realizing though that his bio play is much more quickly to be set up here than the bio play of his opponent, and so because of that, he's starting to put himself in a position where now where we do see those couple of medevacs are going to load up and head across the map, and he's going to try and again just keep on pressuring, keep on dealing damage in these early stages. So a few medevacs just north of the main base here as these continue to fly on over. They're going to be boosting across in towards the main in just a few moments. It feels like get this drop going as the missile turrets will start to go pretty big here. I mean, there's a medevac that just did not begin to unload. Fortunately, it stays alive because there was a tank inside. And that siege up is going to be big. Interference Matrix on the tank will allow Taz to come up into the main, but he still doesn't have stim for a few more seconds. That tank was firing, I think, from the low ground. And there's the tank here from Cass now coming in, but BratOK will lose his tank too. In the end, Cass's defense is pretty reasonable. He loses the barracks, but he will clean this up. And I mean, he kills off the siege tanks. There's only one medevac that escapes alive. 9 SDVs went down, so Cass drops down, but only by a couple of workers overall. And Cass does have the army supply lead. He's a little bit behind on upgrades, but that's not going to be important for the next few moments. Who is Goblin? What race does he play? Goblin's a Protoss player. Actually, just yesterday in the WardiTV and TvT 2018 has left the game. Goblin topped his group 3-1 against players such as Clem, Elaser, Soul, and DNS. He went 3-1 in that group, finished in first place, advancing through to the playoff round of 8, one match away from the global playoffs. So really exciting stuff there from Goblin. BratOK coming along through this south side of the map. And we do see Medevac of BratOK just boosting all the way away over to the far left-hand side. Marines, tanks, Medevacs from CAS going to be coming up towards the upper left-hand side. And we do see there's a couple of Medevacs just going to fly on in and going to start unloading. A couple of tanks will unload and get sieged up. Marines continue to come in here, and CAS actually taking quite a little bit of damage here. As you can see, a lot of these Marines going through. 14 SCVs killed. This is a lot of damage so far. And you see another couple of workers getting picked off as well. Marines, tanks, Medevacs, and the Raven going to come through the top side and head in towards the third base very shortly. As we've got the, again, a few Marines just working their way through some of these supply depots at the moment. And a few Marines coming forwards, and there's going to be a little bit of a skirmish between them so far. Another tank shot or so. And workers going down both sides of the map, entering this little bit of a base trade scenario. CAS will probably want to set up a siege up here. BratOK's army supply is way down, and that's the big issue. Even without the upgrades, BratOK is, CAS has just got way too much, and BratOK cleaned out on the other side, will not clean out on this side. GG is go to our TvT. There's the matchup we're currently focusing on. So let's see what happens as we start to the top left-hand side of the map. Our red Terran player. This from Starcom in the Starcom showdown is BratOK. Taking on the blue Terran to the bottom right side. Also from Starcom, we got ourselves a CAS. BratOK versus CAS, game 2 of the best of 3 here. And excited to see how this goes. Rex coming in on either side at the moment, as we do see them finishing up. Orbital Command getting started up in the main on each side as well. CAS will drop down a factory. And probably going to be seeing a factory from BratOK as well in the next few moments. Get that place down here and get that going. Command center dropping down on the natural. Obviously a command center drop down maybe over here as well from CAS, and to get that underway. By the way, we just saw Goblin obviously losing a pretty big fight to Guru. That was Guru to win that game. Just a few moments later. No music, is there? There we go. I turned the music off while watching the other screen. How do I flip between games? I have a laptop connected by a capture card, so that if I want to switch games, I just, boom, throw it to the laptop screen. It's just 2 accounts, 2 versions of StarCraft, 2 different machines. What's up, Phlogiston of RS? How you doing? Welcome to the stream tonight. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you've had a good week. It's nearly the weekend. It's Friday tomorrow. I'm excited because Friday's my day off tomorrow. Not excited to necessarily not cast StarCraft, just you know, it's sometimes good to recharge a little bit, especially ahead of a crazy week. And I'm casting so much the next couple of weeks. For example, Saturday I'm going to be doing a double broadcast on my stream again. Sunday I'm going to be casting on my stream, then on base trade in the evening. Monday I'm going to be doing a base trade stream in the evening. I might do a Wardy stream through the day. Tuesday I'm doing a big stream in the evening. It's just going to be a busy week, so looking forward to get a chance to recharge tomorrow ahead of a full week. All of that stuff as a Cyclone comes in, picks off that Reaper. Nearly getting TvT skirmishes going on. Be able to play StarCraft with StarCraft sounds in the background. I always have this. I could never play a game while listening to another game in the background. It's just so... Even when I play, like, I even struggle to play games while listening to music in the background if it's too loud. Even like World of Warcraft. I was trying to play World of Warcraft last night while listening to the Pylon show. I was like, oh my god, I really can't do this. It was really a struggle. I powered through because I wanted to listen to the Pylon show, but it was really... I don't know, it's one of those things that I can't get behind. Some people it doesn't bother them at all, it's crazy. But, yeah. It depends how you do it, what you like doing. As this first Banshee from Cass gets shut down entirely. Great little opening then from BratOK. I mean, good way to get that going. And first CC already on the way up. Cass, his orbital was again just a little bit behind. Kind of like we saw in the first game, only this time Cass does not get anywhere near as much damage dealt with the first Banshee. And that's a pretty decent setup. I played StarCraft while listening to you Cass one day. It was rather confusing. I definitely couldn't play StarCraft while listening to like a broadcast or something. It's it'd just be so difficult. I just don't know how you would do it. It's just crazy. Banshee comes in, picks off a couple of SCVs there around the back, and it's getting a little bit of damage done. Raven coming down the left side here from BratOK to help chase that Banshee away. Get out of here, Banshee. We don't want any of your nonsense. Second Raven on the way up. First you see dropping down. You could just imagine that Wardy's commentating your game. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, the Zerg is going to go for a big all-in. Meanwhile, you're like playing a PvP and you're like, wait, the Zerg? All-in? But it's only a minute and a half in the game. What's he doing? And you do your build all wrong. You panic and... ah, yeah. A couple of Cyclones going to lock on here. I mean, that's a dead Banshee with the Raven around, obviously. So, again, BratOK with some good cleanup so far. Really not letting them Banshees do a lot. Means the army supply difference is not as big as it was last time around either. Ravens are going to try and buy time for the auto turrets. I'd like to see the tanks really coming forward here, though. You see that auto turret getting set. The Marines try and spread out a little bit. 2 tanks against 1 tank, basically. Oh, now 2 tanks go from Cass, and that might make a difference here. That Banshee is still in the sky as well. And it's going to go down now to the auto turret, but these tanks are still very powerful. BratOK is currently half the army supply. And this is looking a little bit weak for him suddenly because, I mean, a couple Vikings get made, but the Banshee's already dead. A lot of BratOK's army supply is units that are just not going to do anything. Like, these Ravens have no energy at the moment, so they're going to add absolutely nothing into this. And these tanks are going to see... this tank's going to siege defensively, but also not really going to do much. Vikings are going to try and land on top of the tanks, but then a Raven comes in and throws down an auto turret to fight onto these Vikings, although we will actually see those Vikings doing a great job. They actually clean up the siege tanks. 9 workers killed. Viking jumps into the sky. Mass repair comes down. 9 workers killed. So Cass gets himself into an 8-worker lead. Those tanks all being sieged up next to each other definitely allowed the Vikings and gave them a bit of an opportunity. I would have liked to see a very fast setup kind of from there or something. I don't know. By the way, I've got no idea what just happened in game number 2 of Guru Goblin, but Goblin just had to tap out in 3 minutes. So Guru moves to the semi-finals, and he'll wait to play Geralt or Domik C in those semi-finals. So that's going to be coming up here. Back to this though. Cass up 1-0. Banshee comes in, picks off a Marine, picks off 2. The top side, you're going to see another few SCVs being picked away at as well. Good damage so far. Again, just Cass continue to just pick away and get a little bit more damage done. Goblin did indeed lose to Guru. 2-0. I have no idea what happened in the second game. I guess Goblin did some kind of cannon rush and it didn't go right. Yeah, he went cannon rush, Forge Gateway, and I mean, I just don't know what happened then. I mean, roaches were being made. It was like 3 minutes in game. I think it might have been just like a straight up proxy hatch from Guru or something. I have no idea, honestly. It was like 3 minutes long though. Anyways, Guru goes straight through to the semi-finals here. He'll again play the winner of either Geralt or Domik C. Cass and BratOK, the winner of this, will play Bly or Cyan in the semi-finals as well. Just gonna see if Bly started versus Cyan. Yeah, to see how far along they are. Geralt and Domik C already in game. Just wondering what we should maybe try and jump into in terms of content next. I'd kind of like to cast Bly Cyan. I mean, I kind of like to just cast this side of the bracket. Feels like this bracket's moving along very quickly. The last thing I want is for this to not last long enough. I mean, I know we've been streaming a long time today, but it'd be nice to still get 2 or 3 hours out of this tournament. I guess we're over an hour into the tournament. I guess we're like an hour in. Cyan is missing. Let me message him. 11 SCVs going down. Yeah. This is what happens when you suddenly start having admin issues. Suddenly BratOK is in here and he's just killed 20 workers. Oh my god, this drop is deadly. Sorry guys, this is absolutely awful observing for me. getting talked to by players at the wrong time, wasn't I? Well, I mean, a couple of tanks getting intervened to Matrix. Cass tries to play cleaner, but I actually think BratOK might be able to clean this up. As he keeps, Cass might be able to clean this up, and BratOK has put himself into such a position from this. I mean, what a drop. 27 workers killed, and he killed a bunch of units as well with it. This was not an easy cleanup from Cass at all. Wow. Sorry, guys, again, so apologies for the bad observing. I was just trying to figure out where Cyan is. It's tough to know. Marines fighting here as we do see BratOK pushing in, gets another orbital command, so kills that, and at the same time he's dropping back over here. Even just with a couple of Marines, they get so much done, and wow. I mean, absolute domination. And that's going to be pretty much the GG. Ooh, just like that. BratOK takes it. Map number 3 of this series. This best of 3 has been actually pretty exciting. Apologies for the little bit of, again, confusion here and then. Missing a couple of things. Not only has it been a long day, but trying to figure out some admin things and making sure players are playing their matches. Always very important, of course. Bottom right-hand side, our red Terran player. This is BratOK. Going up against the blue Terran in the top left. Was ahead, but had it turned on him. Cass. So let's see what he can do. Let's see if he moves over to the right-hand side and... well... see what happens. I mean, obviously proxy racks here means it's going to be some proxy Reaper play. In Port Alexander, there's this little ledge over here you can use as well as the ramp. It's limited, but it's not impossible to make it work. So we'll see what happens as we do see the barracks coming down here from BratOK to get going. See what BratOK does. He does go double gas, so it's not going to be an immediate expansion, which is pretty regular nowadays to go double gas. Because then even if you want to expand fast, you just pull out of gas for a little while and you get those minerals pretty quickly. So it works out quite nice overall. Do you see that Rax is going to be finishing up in just a few moments here. The first Rax finished up from Cass and the first Reaper on the way. No scout from BratOK means that Cass doesn't have to rally his Reapers in right away. BratOK actually prioritizes the factory here rather than the Reaper. So Reaper does get started. As this SCV is going to move out. Actually, we'll see the SCV coming in, so may already kind of know about the proxy now, I guess. As we'll just go and confirm it, just double check. Boom. Reapers are sighted, so it's a little bit of a heads up about this proxy coming in. Immediately pulls forwards to build a bunker on the high ground. So going to go for the bunker-based defense here. SCV will be chased and killed by this Reaper. First Reaper about to pop out here from BratOK to defend against this. Reaper grenade goes down. There's a little bit of blasting, but nothing too crazy. I'm waiting for the extra Reaper to show up. Took an extra shot there, and that does delay the regeneration on the Reaper. Obviously, if the regeneration is delayed, that's going to hurt a little bit. As we do see the Reapers hopping up on the right side. Reaper grenade going down. And, ooh, those two Reapers are actually coming forwards, very narrowly able to pick up that bunker. And as we are going to be seeing, SCVs taking quite a lot of damage here. Reaper hops up. And we are going to be seeing the another SCV taken down as well. Two more barracks continuing to build at the moment. Just pumping out Reapers as regularly as they can, as many as possible. Get them ready to keep on pressing forwards. Starport from BratOK on the way through as well. Reaper, Hellion, all set across to the side. A couple of Reapers from Cass out at the front as well. Third Reaper showing up now to get ready to move forwards. Get ready to attack. So 3 Reapers. I mean, there's a couple of Hellions here. So far, I think Cass has done just about enough to kind of start transitioning out of this. Factory back at home has a tech lab on it, so Cyclone's a real possibility. Straight into the tech lab on the starport from BratOK, so probably just wants to go straight in towards a movement towards like a Cloak Banshee, or even just the Raven can be very good in these sort of circumstances as well. Reaper's having a little bit of a fight there, and do end up picking off the Reaper of BratOK, though the Hellions do get away. Definitely not the prettiest or most perfect game from either side so far. Definitely been a couple micro mistakes, but overall, they've traded out well enough against each other that the game will go on without either, I would say, having a major advantage. Barracks being used for high ground vision here will actually allow for the potential kill on this supply depot. Hellions can't go down to the low ground either because the barracks would see that, and as soon as they move over there, these Reapers would be moving up to get some damage done. As Reaper grenades helping out as well, and oh no, the missed micro again. The Hellion Reapers, they should really be on hold position. He comes in and oh my god, kill the depot, please. There's an SCV repairing it. Do you not realize that? Cass? No? He put in so much effort to kill that supply depot, and huh. And then it just survived. Wow. The Marines going to be working their way through that barracks, dealing a little bit of damage there. More Reapers coming down to the south side. Racks flying around in the main base as we do see Hellions being repaired up by a couple of SCVs at the moment. And again, a couple of Marines just continue to fly away on that barracks. Just keeping that high ground vision as Macfield Accelerator comes up from Cass at the moment. So he's getting that underway. Let's check and see if we had a result from Geralt and Dominic C, who are out of game now, so probably looking to move forwards here. Reapers come in and they do get themselves the SCV and building the CC, but they're pretty much just given up. As you see the two Hellions, Marine, Cyclone, able to get that Reaper kill. Across the map, the first Banshee came in, 4 workers killed before the Cyclones got the pickup on it, so again, trading damage at the moment. Double expansion from BratOK, not just on the low ground, but a third base coming up as well, will somewhat kind of offset the fact that Cass has had such an earlier kind of natural expansion. Cyclone takes a little bit of damage. And down, and another little kill going off. CV's going down as this Banshee kind of fires away from the distance in the main. Ooh, Cyclone going to get picked off too. The Raven comes in for the other Cyclone to finish up. Again, pretty back and forth at the moment. Taking a siege up here from BratOK. And that third CC also coming in at the moment. So, still bringing this along. And we do see the third CC now have cast on up. So overall, I mean, by the time BratOK is ahead on that third CC, a couple of workers extra, probably makes up for himself in the economy at the moment. We're going to put some minerals back into the CC. Some little bits and pieces being done at the moment. Siege tank coming in on either side. Third CC again morphing into the orbital from BratOK again, and that really is what's going to keep him ready to go. Again, Viking coming up on either side of the map. Actually drops down into the main base. Just going to see another couple of Vikings continue to pop out here. 2 Vikings and a Raven sat up overhead, and they're just going to be continue to go in towards these air units for the air control, but both players are doing the same. Biggest difference is there's 2 Ravens from Cass and 1 from BratOK. Now the Raven can be super influential. Anti-armor missile. Anti-armor missile, I mean just straight up Viking numbers. All of that can get quite a bit done, as you do see. The CVs continue to come out of this natural orbital. Vikings and a Raven continue to get set up. You see a couple armories dropping down. BratOK going to be playing a mech style here. I mean, the double factory already down, so we kind of know it. Just confirming he's going to go really into the double upgrades and everything, so really, really powerfully into the mid game. Meanwhile, Cass playing from a bit of a worker lead, a bit of an eco lead, slight army lead. With Bio, that actually kind of works out quite nicely. Vikings and the Raven up in the main. As you see the units heading around the right side. if they're both on Starcom, shouldn't they be pretty familiar with each other's playstyle? I mean, I think BratOK and Cass probably talk to each other a fair amount. They're both in the CIS scene. They're both kind of similar Terran players, I would say, in kind of how they play and so on. So, yeah, same team. Same scene. They probably play each other a lot. They're both kind of real ladder warriors as well. Like, they ladder so much. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're very familiar with each other's playstyle. As you see. Vikings, tanks, Cyclones heading over to the right-hand side there. Hellions do come up in towards the natural expansion, and SCV starting to take some damage. 4 workers killed at the moment. Make that 5, 6, and 7. Continuing through. Again, another few workers killed. Vikings, Ravens, and again a few more units continue to press forwards. Interference Matrix goes down and blocks up that siege tank. We do see tanks firing all over the place. A whole bunch of SCVs are going down, and well, there's a couple of interference matrices going down from BratOK also. The Vikings still just up overhead in the skies and firing away, doing what they can to clean up here. Cass lost his little bit of a push, and at the same time across the map, Hellions are going absolutely crazy on the SCV line. 19 workers killed for 25, and Cass is just going to say GG and well played. He's lost too much, he's going to lose more, and he knows it. So GG's out. BratOK takes the series.